The arts are an important humanizing and unifying force in any community. They bring people together to discuss, to learn, to explore, to be entertained.
The Orange County Performing Arts Center brings to Costa Mesa a tremendous opportunity to experience the greatest arts in the world. There's simply nothing more spectacular when the greatest ballet dancer in the world is on the stage, or when the New York Philharmonic Orchestra is here, or when the Vienna is here, or when a very top performer is on the stage doing popular music or jazz. It's an experience that you can only get in a few places in the entire world.
Hear the word culture these days and the city of Costa Mesa comes to mind. Blessed with the finest theater, dance, and music of the performing arts to the paintings and the sculptures of the visual arts, Costa Mesa has become one of the elite cultural capitals of the world.
From the mainstream to the not-so-mainstream, some of the world's greatest masterpieces can be viewed right here in Costa Mesa. So the City Council's made it official, and here is why Costa Mesa has become known as the City of the Arts.
My family is interested in the arts because there's kind of a symbiosis, I guess if that's a good word, between art and business. Because I think one can't exist without the other, especially when you're talking about philanthropy and donating to the arts as opposed to just purchasing art. For instance, Henry and Anton, they know a lot of artists and people know that they appreciate art. So if we're building a new building, for instance, someone will come up and talk to them about, well, you know, there's a new sculptor, would you like to see his work? And so they would bring pictures in and then perhaps they would buy a piece for whatever building they're building or the project. The whole town center area with the office buildings, including South Coast Plaza, we've all have put art into those in some way, whether it's, we've talked about the sculptures, building of the California scenario. I think what really started it in Costa Mesa was probably when South Coast Repertory opened. I think the dream of these two directors and what they had envisioned for the area, especially David Ems being from Orange County, has really turned into a dream come true for them. What I remember is that they were already working here in the area, Martin Benson and David Ems, and through a relationship I think they had with Henry and probably my grandfather and my dad at the time, we decided that we should, you know, help them with this prospect of getting this theater going. And still to this day, it's one of the most outstanding areas in any office complex in the United States, at least. And I think it all has to do with this beginning of South Coast Repertory and the dream that these two guys had as far as bringing this culture to Costa Mesa.
Well, from the beginning, when we set out to found South Coast Repertory with my partner, Martin Benson, and the founding members of the theater, some of whom are still with us, where I'm happy to say, was the idea that we believe that the professional resident theater was an important art form for this country, that great theater should not be limited to 11 blocks of New York City and then road companies coming out to the hinterlands to show the people in the outlying states. But this was a tremendously talented country that every state, every major area, why shouldn't they have their own symphony, their own opera, and theater? SCR came to Costa Mesa after we had operated a little 75-seat end-stage theater down in Newport in the Cannery District. This was in the mid-'60s, and we knew that a 75-seat theater was not going to be able to support our ambitions of becoming a professional resident theater. A dime store became available, or a former dime store on Newport Boulevard, so we moved in the late 60s to this dime store. By the early 70s, we had been able to grow considerably, and we were looking with our Board of Trustees for a plot of land where we could actually build our own facility. And one of the places that we looked to was up here in the South Coast Plaza area, and we approached the Segersom family, and they, I think, quickly saw how valuable it would be to both, one, to support the arts, because that's a good thing, and two, that having an important arts institution next to South Coast Plaza is an added benefit to coming to South Coast Plaza. So it was a very forward-looking thing on the part of the Segerstrom family, that there was a vision there, that understanding about the importance of the arts.
So I went down there, and right there where them two railroads cross each other, I stood right there on that
We are
spot.
recognized now as one of the leading theaters in the United States. We're presenting currently 11 new productions every year in our two theaters. Plays that are new by some of the most outstanding American playwrights with whom we've identified and established wonderful relationships with. We're doing classical plays that students from Orange County high schools can come in and have that exposure to the arts. We're doing American kind of classics like Our Town or Death of a Salesman. It is analogous to the idea of an art museum where you have a different collection of paintings that come in from time to time, and that gives you a different insight, a different facet into the world of visual art and what's important. So that's what South Coast Repertory's commitment has been, is to be a source of cultural enrichment, not just diversionary entertainment to Costa Mesa and Orange County.
The South Coast Repertory has definitely captured the eyes of the cultural community, allowing them to discover all the other wonderful organizations that bring a wide variety of performing arts to Costa Mesa.
Costa Mesa has truly become the center of the performing arts in the county. Even though some of these organizations that perform in Costa Mesa may not actually have their offices in Costa Mesa, their primary performing venue is Costa Mesa, and there's a lot that happens, synergy that happens when you put a lot of arts organizations together.
In addition to presenting the very best companies from around the world, we were also going to nurture regional groups. And in the 14 years since the center began and the Pacific Symphony moved into the building, it has grown into a very significant orchestra led by the wonderful Carl St. Clair, who's been with the orchestra for 10 years. We just celebrated his 10th anniversary. It's an exciting time for the symphony. They have matured to the point that they are certainly nationally recognized and as an important orchestra, so we're very lucky to have them here. Opera Pacific began under the artistic leadership of David DiChiara, and it has grown and blossomed into really a first-rate opera company. My understanding is they have an operating budget of a significant size that makes them like the 5th opera company in the United States, which is a remarkable achievement for Costa Mesa and for Opera Pacific. A wonderful board of directors who supports opera. The community has stepped forward to attend performances and obviously enjoys them because they're very well sold. The productions are every year get better and better. What a treat for us all. William Hall Master Chorale is a permanent fixture in Southern California. Bill Hall is a very fine conductor, world-renowned. He has done a series of concerts here with his chorale since the center opened, so for 14 years. When the center opened, it gave them a better a better sound in an appropriate setting, which is, of course, what everyone wants, is to hear music in a perfect home. The Pacific Chorale, under the leadership of Artistic Director John Alexander, they have regularly done 4 to 5 concerts here a year, which for choral music is a significant body of work. John Alexander is really an excellent musician, has wonderful repertoire. The singers are magnificent, and to come to a concert in Costa Mesa and hear John Alexander and his singers is a wonderful experience. The Philharmonic Society of Orange County is a presenting organization that for more than 40 years has been active in Costa Mesa and in the Orange County community under the current leadership of Dean Corey, who is their executive director. They do not just the great symphonies of the world, but Dean is exploring new forms of music, contemporary opera, has a chamber series. It's an exciting place to be. The community is lucky to have the adventuresome spirit of the Philharmonic Society.
The Pacific Symphony, the Opera Pacific, the Philharmonic Society, and the Pacific Chorale perform primarily in Costa Mesa and have outstanding programs dedicated to introducing all ages to the performing arts. The William Hall Master Chorale, on the other hand, not only has its programs to involve our young people, but they, like these other wonderful creative arts organizations, make their homes here in the City of the Arts. One of Costa Mesa's prides and joys is the All-American Boys Chorus. Based at the Orange County Fairgrounds, they perform to outstanding ovations worldwide in places like Moscow, Vienna, Rome, and Tokyo. Led by the musical direction of David Albalario, these heavenly voices have shared the stage with endless worldwide entertainers and can also be enjoyed locally, singing with groups at the Performing Arts Center, and are featured every year at the annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony here in Costa Mesa. The Ballet Montmartre is a dance company dedicated to encouraging our youth to nurture and enhance their creativity through ballet and dance. Under the tutelage of National Ballet of Romania star Stella Viorica, students are exposed to ballet using lecture, performance, and interaction with dancers. Performing at the South Coast Repertory, Orange County Performing Arts Center, and local schools, the Ballet Montmartre gives Costa Mesa an up-close look at one of the world's most graceful forms of communication. The Costa Mesa Civic Playhouse originally started as a teenage drama instruction troupe at the Orange County Fairgrounds. They have become one of the finest local community theaters around. Providing opportunities and performances for children and adults, the Civic Playhouse gives everyone in our community an opportunity to experience theater. The Orange County Light Opera Company is a wonderful group that gives Costa Mesa and all of California the opportunity to experience seldom performed operetta and musical theater classics. What is unique about the light opera is they perform their works in real-life settings, using places like old courthouses and ships as their sets. An outreach of the light opera is the Californios, who perform their music of early California concerts to the delight of school kids and corporations at historical sites all over the state. Born out of the love of dance is the DeFore Foundation for the Arts. In memory of Broadway dancer choreographer Jimmy DeFore, the foundation sponsors and funds public performances, offers scholarships, and provides the training and facilities for dancers of all types of dance. Hosting summer auditions for world-famous companies like the Kirov, Boston, and San Francisco ballets, the DeFore Foundation for the Arts has become a part of the cultural revolution in Costa Mesa.
To become the city of the arts, you need to build on a true foundation in the arts. Here in Costa Mesa, we do just that. In fact, there's a place that does all of that.
Orange Coast College and the Robert B. Moore Theater and our Fine Arts Division has been an integral part of the arts in Costa Mesa because, of course, we're located in Costa Mesa and we have not only a huge Fine Arts Division in terms of our offerings, classes and performing arts, but high quality as well. I mean, very, very high quality programs. And so we have had a very large impact on this city. At one point in Orange County, this school was the primary means of community outreach in terms of performing arts. And of course now we attract visiting artists. We attract professionals within the area who come and perform in our plays and in our orchestra. And I think if we didn't have the strong reputation that we did have, there would not be that interest.
And in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Our film video program is especially well known for award-winning videos that students have made. Our photography department is also a very, very strong department that has truly an international reputation. We have a very strong visual arts programs, a wonderful art gallery. In fact, I'm sitting in the art gallery right now, and a lot of students go on to exhibit their own work, some locally and some, of course, move on to the national scene. We have a very extensive performing arts program, and we have faculty-directed plays that are going on all year long, some of them in the Robert B. Moore Theater, some of them in the Drama Lab. Then we also have a repertory group that consists of students. These are students taking classes. They write their own plays, they direct their own plays, they act in them. All of those are open to the public and they are excellent. We have an orchestra that performs 4 concerts a year. We have a jazz program that performs off-campus as well as on-campus, and so that's sort of interesting too, that there are off-campus events happening as well that definitely provide a community outreach. I would certainly like to think that Orange Coast College and the Robert B. Moore Theater and our Fine Arts Division has made a very lasting contribution to the development of the arts in Orange County, and that our involvement in the arts is going to continue to grow.
One of the benefits of having a teaching institution with an incredible art focus is the amount of talent that it attracts to the city. Now couple that with the small and large businesses that need artists, and you have created a very unique phenomenon.
There is a very large artist population here, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that Costa Mesa has a very young attitude about the arts, and you can kind of see it just by the number of coffee shops and bookshops and spiritual shops. We're just a lot different than the rest of the county.
I think that Costa Mesa is a wonderful community for a visual artist in particular to work in, or any creative person. As a matter of fact, within this complex, there are probably as many as 24 working artists and artisans, craftspeople, doing various things. There's a wonderful inventor 2 doors down from me, and just beyond that there's a framer, and there's a glass blower, there's a music studio, goes on and on. It's wonderful. It's an affordable space near the ocean. We have a lot of still open areas that you can go out and do, you know, an ocean painting, or just feel like you're more into the environment to paint. We also have an industrial section, so if you're a little bit more cutting edge type of material hunter like myself, we have plenty of garbage cans to go through, a lot of scrap material. We have very old businesses here which allow us to get scrap that you wouldn't get anywhere else. If I need something, I can turn north, south, east, or west, and within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I can have whatever it is that I need. That is very important.
It's pretty incredible when you think about all the theaters are here, a number of bookstores are here, there's a lot of poetry reading going on here. So you've got like-minded individuals that are into the arts that can go someplace and start interacting with each other.
There's a great deal of interest in the arts in all areas by most people. And isn't it wonderful that Costa Mesa, the town fathers and supporters within the community, taxpayers and so forth, are all willing to contribute to that, toward that end.
There's just so many facets to art. You can educate with arts, you can inspire with arts, you can advertise with arts. It's a thing that must be propelled for a city to grow.
It's the dream of every artist to have their work on display for the world to see.
And here in Costa Mesa, we are blessed with one of the world's most renowned sculptured artists, Isamu Noguchi.
Located in the South Coast metro area of Costa Mesa, the California Scenario Gardens are a magnificent outdoor display of unique sculptures. The sculptures represent the diverse environments of California, creating a sense of peace and serenity set amongst the hustle and bustle of Costa Mesa's business community.
The California scenario is spectacular, but there are several other opportunities in Costa Mesa to experience the creativity of the visual arts. The Cultural Revolution has definitely found its way into our city. But before we draw the curtain, there's one venue that deserves no less than a standing ovation.
In 1986, Costa Mesa would gain international recognition when the $70 million Orange County Performing Arts Center celebrated its grand opening.
We're in our 14th year now of operation, but some 25 years ago, a group of local citizens decided that they needed a music center. They saw that what was going on at the Los Angeles Music Center, and they knew that Orange County was developing its own identity, and they saw the population growth. So a group of citizens who had sponsored and helped get SCR going, South Coast Rep had been here a number of years before we came about, decided that it was time to build our own music center, our own cultural center, if you will, for Orange County. They wanted to be world class, they wanted to be something special. And so this group of people started to explore sites, but really focused on Costa Mesa because South Coast Rep was here, because they saw with South Coast Plaza that this area could become Orange County's really center city. And then they approached the Segerstrom family and said, you know, you donated the land for South Coast Rep and that was a success. How would you like to complete this cultural center and provide land for a real music center, and hence the Orange County Performing Arts Center came about.
Getting to know you, getting to feel free and easy.
It was designed with the notion that it should be a beautiful building, but also it should be acoustically an outstanding building. And the hall that you're seeing is considered one of the top 10 halls in the world at 3,000 seats and above for acoustics. This stage is one of the largest stages in the world, and we can actually handle any kind of technical capabilities here that anybody can do. We can mount any sort of show. We can do ice on this particular stage. We can, as we did 2 weeks ago, we can do an opera one day, take the sets and raise them 80 feet in the air and bring in a musical production under it. We can do 2 and 3 shows a day on this stage. We also have a second hall, Founders Hall, which now is complete for jazz, cabaret, classical music, chamber music. We will do over 300 performances, almost 250 of them on this big stage and another 50 to 60 in Founders Hall. We present symphony orchestra, both the Pacific Symphony, which is becoming one of the very fine regional symphonies in the world, actually. But we also bring in touring orchestras through the Philharmonic Society, so you'll have the Vienna and the Berlin and the LA and the New York. So the very best orchestras in the world come in here. We also do major opera. We do touring Broadway. The best Broadway musicals in the world come here. In January, we have the Stuttgart. In the summer, we have the Bolshoi. Next year, we'll have the Paris Opera Ballet. The best ballet companies in the world come to this center. We do popular music. We also do comedy. We do modern dance. We do jazz. We do cabaret. We do classical music. We do chamber orchestras, string quartets, recitals, vocalists. Every form of performing arts that is possible to do, that is of high quality, because that's what we exist for, is done on this stage or Founders Hall. So artists will come in from all over the world and they'll tell everybody this is the favorite place to perform that they perform. What's interesting about this, while we are known as the Orange County Performing Arts Center, in the world we're known as Costa Mesa, because the arts world travels by city location, what they can write on the side of a trunk. And so you go, as I did last year, to Europe and talk to a ballet company, say, oh, we love Costa Mesa, we'll become, they don't know us as Ockback, they know us as Costa Mesa. Bottom line is, I think Costa Mesa clearly is the arts center of Orange County, because not only do we have great theater with South Coast Rep, we have this great center with the very best, as I've already mentioned. You've got the theater district, you've got a number of other small theater companies. I think in terms of breadth, this area, it really has it. And with our expansion project that we're working on, which ultimately will include an art museum, there'll be very few places in the country, let alone in California, that will be have as much of the arts as Costa Mesa has. So I think Costa Mesa really is the arts city of Orange County.
You know, Brad, I think we're starting to outgrow our motto as Orange County City of the Arts.
Linda, I think you might be right. So I got it. How does this sound? Costa Mesa, the world's city of the arts.
Costa Mesa has a very young attitude about the arts.
The arts are an important humanizing and unifying force in any community.
I think what really started it in Costa Mesa was probably when South Coast Repertory opened.
We are recognized now as one of the leading theaters in the United States.
At one point, this school was the primary means of community outreach in terms of performing arts.
There's a great deal of interest in the arts in all areas.
While we are known as the Orange County Performing Arts Center, in the world we're known as Costa Mesa. In the world we're known as Costa Mesa. In the world we're known as Costa Mesa.